I just can't believe looking out here, man. Trent's got the biggest grin on his face.
Yes.
I mean, how good's Millersburg? How good's Millersburg? There's 37 people there and there's 60 in the room. We're multiplying. I'm a TV nut. I want to talk about three Davids a second. And maybe share some good thoughts about Trent. I'm a TV nut, and one of my favorite people is David Attenborough.
Oh.
Channel 9, Sir David. Sir David. And he's done Blue Planet, he's done Living Planet, he's done Nature. David is the man. And somebody asked Dave once, he said, how did you get so much love for nature? How come you can do all of that and wade through all that stuff? And he said, I just kind of find that a funny question, because he said, everybody has this love. He said, when we're born, we walk around dancing crickets, and we watch the sun come up and the birds sing. He said, we all have that love. We all have that love. He said, I'm not special. He said, I just wonder why you guys lost it. Why did you lose it?
Yeah.
I'm here today to celebrate somebody that never lost it. He stayed youthful, he stayed energetic, he stayed genuine, and he had a tough, hard love of life that only Millersburg can give you. Ask my grandson. At 14 years old, I was the one that started this mess, and I took Trent to see David Bowie at Roberts Stadium.
Yes.
And I liked his music. Trent said he's eclectic, man. He said he's multicultural, he's talented. He goes through 2 distortions on his guitars and only 1 on the bass, and nobody puts the drums through distortion. And I just like the music. He went, he met his Hatch, his buddy there, and I don't know what they did, but I just know we all enjoyed it, and I believe that started him down that music quest he had his life. And David Bromberg, the third one. Bromberg's dad was a shrink in New York. He played guitar, dobro, electric guitar, anything that had any kind of strings on it. And he had a song, he said, and the good Lord knows I don't take no call. And Trent didn't take any call. Trent didn't take seconds. He worked harder. He didn't take call from anybody. Ask law enforcement. He didn't take it from anybody. And
Amen.
Trent loves me today. Trent loves me today. I love Trent today, but that's what Trent was. Trent was a man who believed, and he didn't pretend for others. He didn't do anything to make somebody else happy in their values of looking at him there.
Right.
Amen.
2 motorcycles come to mind with Trent. My 500 Kawasaki and that little red 70 Honda. You know, if I was riding a 500 Kawasaki, he could outrun me on that 70 Honda. How's he do it, folks? How's he do
Thank
it?
you.
Man, he was a bat out of heck. He could do anything on that. Get me a quarter-mile straight and I'd catch you, but we did some curves and he's gone again. We're going down Boonville New Harmony Road. Trent's 10 years old. 3rd year, I look down 80 mile an hour. Tears flying out of my eyes. Trent's 10 years old, he's sitting on the gas tank, he can't reach the brakes. Good old, I was always so wise in my youth. I was so wise in my youth. You know, big grin, no danger. I'd creak it back down and he'd look at me, boom, creak it back down. That's how Trent lived, full throttle.
Amen.
Well, Trent was an artist. I've got a coffee cup he made for me. I was working in rehab. All I did was fuss, loved what I did, and you know me, so all I could do is bitch about it. So Trent made me a coffee cup with 2 handles. He knew and I guess he knew I was going to end up with palsy. I don't know. But he's thoughtful, he was artistic. They made it Randy's coffee cup. You know, I mean, such a simple thing. Here's a pencil drawing. Little guy, bib overalls, one side hooked, one side loose, barefoot. I believe he's just about right there, and he's walking away from Trent as he's drawing it. And I believe that's a self-portrait. I believe it's a self-portrait. I got first place at USI painting art contest.
Yeah.
Another one's in a museum in Indianapolis that Trent painted.
Wow.
Indianapolis Museum. What an artist.
Oh no.
What an artist. Oh, absolutely. To everything there is a season here. Just one or two more things. Trent, first, Lockyer, book of Lockyer, 3:1. Wherever two of mine meet, I will be there.
Yeah.
My arms will be around you.
Yeah.
I will be beside you. I will not be in front nor behind. I will give you strength, and I will get peace and love from you. Lockyer 3:1. Trent loved the Lord. He knew that you could get saved, but you merely had to ask. Trent prayed all the time. At the risk of sounding like talking to somebody who might know something about the adult movie industry, Trent probably knew the Lord longer, harder, and deeper than I did. He did everything in overdrive. It's his style, man. And this is for Trent, so I'm sorry.
No.
If it offends you, you're at the wrong ceremony. Trent was a seeker, a salesman, and a mortgage broker. He was a CNC operator, a believer in mysteries, and like Seeger, a midnight toker.
Amen.
Do you know what a CNC machine is?
Yeah.
It's a computer-operated gang saw. Dave and I worked at Escalade, my son, and they had a separate room in the building where I had to stay because there was a CNC machine in the other one. I kept messing up. Trent started working at a plastics factory, and in a month, nobody else could touch that machine. It was his.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Randy.
Before you leave, just for Trent, make sure you've hugged the heck out of everybody today, okay?
Yes.
Thank you for sharing Millersburg with me. Maybe one last time.
Yeah, Theo, yay, Theo. You're a good boy.
Okay, I'm gonna try to
I'm gonna cry.
best I can. First, I want to give a big thanks to Lucy Hart for initiating the memorial
Yeah.
for my brother Trent. If not for her, I'd probably still be sitting numb to the news, but I'm not. Us Lockyers love you a lot, Lucy. Wherever you are, okay. Tell her. I guess we'll start with my earliest memories of him and go from there. Trent Sean Lockyer was born 29th of May, 1963, and left us March 5th, 2021. I remember I was 4.5 years young, running from Grandma and Papa's around the corner of the new house, singing, "The baby's coming home, the baby's coming home." I was thrilled. He had had croup, and Mom had to leave him in the hospital in a breathing tent. She'd been really sad because she had to leave her baby behind. I remember her washing dishes one day, and he was crying in his crib, and I ran to her and I said, "The baby's crying, the baby's crying," and as if nobody could hear him. And then as he got older, around first grade, were playing school. I was the teacher, and I asked him, I said, "What's your name?" I said, "You're a new student." His reply was, "Well, my name's Trent Lockyer, but they call me Davy Jones because I'm so cute." Oh, God. I laughed then, and I still think it's really funny.
See, notice only the ladies know the reference.
Oh, yes.
All the ladies are giggling, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
As everybody knows, Trent was pretty small frame. And in grade school, maybe about third grade, he went into the restroom at school, and a classmate called him a midget. Well, he'd experienced this type of bullying before, so he grabbed this little boy's brown paper lunch, and he threw it in the toilet, and then he urinated on it. Well, school called Dad, and Dad was so awesome. He told the school that Trent was simply taking up for himself due to being bullied. No punishment, period. Then as he got older, he asked me questions about girls. And that's all I'm saying about that. I also remember his visit to Houston this evening. I won't share much of that either. But we had a good time. He loved my cats,
Yeah.
and they all loved him. Trent was an artist, like Randy said. A lot of people didn't know that. They didn't realize he could draw, he could throw pottery, he could cook like a chef. He loved music and artifacts. He was a caregiver. He took care of me quite a few times. He loved learning, so he loved and excelled in college. Hardly had to study except for algebra. He had trouble with that. Trent was a pretty complex yet sensitive guy. We talked about God. He always had questions. Didn't quite understand God. One day I just looked at him and I said, "Brother, God is love." He smiled and his eyes lit up with relief, and he understood because love was in him. He would tell me that he felt like a black sheep. Well, look at the love for him today. He's smiling.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming. Does anybody else want to say?
I want to thank everybody for coming. Most of my stories are X-rated, so that's all I'm going to say about that. And thank you very much for coming.
Anybody
Lots of
else
you
want to
that I
say
have not seen.
anything?
Yeah.
Anybody else want?
Sure.
Bill want to say something?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Marley was my mom's sister. I'm Bill Hurst Jr. And Trent was born in '63. And we lived in Telsey. Every 2 weeks, we traveled. There were 6 of us, ended up 6 of us at that time. There was 4. Mike was born in '60, so he was 3 years old. But anyway, we would travel from Tell City to Millersburg every 2 or 3 weeks, and we go to Grandma and Papa Lambert's house. And after that, we went to the Lockyers. They were family. We were close. I mean, they were just brothers and sisters almost, except way younger than me. But just to give you an idea of what kind of a world it was back then, Jack was a character too. Marley, she was the same. And I'm not saying Jack isn't. Only God knows your heart. You know, I know everybody knows that, but only God knows your heart. But they were building a cistern, and they had dynamite, and they blew up the dynamite. And I can tell you, you shouldn't be downwind from dynamite. It will make you sick. So I guess back then the laws were a little different.
Can't buy dynamite now? Yeah. So, you know, I didn't know Trent as well as Randy and Tammy and Tim and Todd, but I knew he was very talented. I knew we went to his wedding, he was there on 41, and he stood up. And, I mean, if he was standing up and talking now, you'd think he's a professional talker. I'm nervous. But you just would have never guessed, because he was that smart. I'll just tell you one story, and I'm not judging anybody. But I went to
Start a story with
God knows my heart. He probably knows I'm lying right now.
There's a big butt in there, isn't there?
Big one, yeah, that's me. But I'm not promoting Jimmy Swagger, but I went to a Jimmy Swagger concert at Robert State.
Yeah.
And it was crowded, and I'm sitting in the back, and this is the truth. God was working on me at the time. I mean, he was working on me heavy. And I watched Trent Lockyer go from the top of Robert Stadium, walk all the way to that altar. And I was amazed, because I knew Trent, but you know, God will forgive you.
Yeah.
He's a loving God. Like
Amen.
Randy says, God is love. I mean, he is pure love.
That's right.
So I watched him, and then after that, David Wilkerson came in, and I went to that one. I went straight to that altar. I mean,
Yeah.
I was not like Trent. I'm behind the scenes. If he's a 10 and being able to stand out, I'm a 1. You know, I'm just not that way. But you know, I just wanted to share that. I did watch him do that, and I know he contemplated, you know, God's goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting that with me.
Oh, thank you.
Like Todd said, thanks everybody, unless there's somebody else that wants to say something. Thanks everybody for coming.
I can start telling some stories.
You should. We're all
Go for
adults.
it.
I did forget,
Okay.
Jesus Christ is the answer to all of our problems. This
Yes.
is a terrible world we're living in, but it's all about Jesus.
Amen.
I'm hungry.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's your grandson.